Well, let me get on to two big players I feel I'd be remiss not to talk about. Actually, three topics. But the first is China. You mentioned there's been a lot of attention on the Chinese defense minister, somewhat missing in action, and just of
Completely
what's
missing.
happening with Xi Jinping. I mean, what do you make of this? How important is it in terms of what's happening and understanding the mindset of Beijing right now?
Well, there were already a couple of the heads of the missile forces that
Right.
were removed for corruption. And so, I mean, remember when Xi Jinping first became president, his first major action was anti-corruption in the military. And this shows that this continues to be a challenge for the Chinese Communist Party and for Xi Jinping personally. So I think he takes a little bit of a prestige hit. The fact that he's still dealing with this at such a high level, and in the case of the defense minister, someone that was just put into place, we'll probably never find out exactly what it was. And officially, it's still a health issue. That's what they're
Oh, Li
saying.
Shangfu. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sure it will become a health issue at some point soon, right? If it hasn't
yeah,
already, but
exactly.
I don't think that's causal. But this does not make me think differently about the political stability of China or the loyalty of the defense forces. It does show that the Chinese military readiness is open to question. And I never thought that there was a near-term risk of a strike on Taiwan, but if you did, you should be reducing that assessment after the
Yeah.
last few weeks. Yeah.
And being Canadian, the issue with Narendra Modi, I know Justin Trudeau has been basically accusing India of, in essence, assassinating a Canadian national on Canadian soil. I mean, that issue, I guess, is playing out, but it also makes me wonder, are we engaging with India in the right way? Because I think that's not been a country that's been on the radar as, a country to worry about.
No, in fact, it's been one of the more successful stories of the Biden administration. Also, Canada itself, which has a worse relationship with China than the U.S., unveiled to great fanfare, Canadian fanfare, so it was understated, an Indo-Pacific strategy a year
Hmm.
ago, and there ain't no Indo right now, right? So this is a big problem for them. Now, yes, Canadian citizen, Sikh, radical, calling for secession in India of the Sikh homeland, deeply unpopular in India, and believed by the Indian government to be a terrorist.
Yep.
Now, that evidence has not been made public. Those links have not been tested. Obviously, he is not seen was not seen as a terrorist by the Canadian government, or he would have been arrested. So if you're Canada and the intelligence comes from the US and is shared with the Five Eyes, so UK, Australia, New Zealand as well. And I don't have access to the intelligence because I don't have those clearances, but I have spoken with those leaders, and they have told me that this evidence is rock solid, recorded evidence of Indian agents talking about
Does
this
it change
action.
the relationship, or is it just simply something we have to get through because India's too important a player?
It changes the Canada relationship. The United States, look, the Canadians really wanted to handle this on the down low. They didn't. It wasn't Trudeau that brought it up. It was the National Security Advisor.
Right.
They call it the National Security Intelligence Advisor, who was sent a couple months ago, and she tried to find an off ramp. What she didn't want Modi to say, "I did this." She wanted Modi to say, "I'll investigate it. We'll figure out who was responsible for it. We'll throw someone under the
And the
bus, and then it won't
consequences.
happen again." No, no, no.
So
That ain't happening.
we
So,
just
the American. Good.
we have about a minute left, Ian, and I
Oh,
want to, by the way, there's so much. Your article on the AI power paradox, I recommend everybody read it in Foreign Affairs. So I think that's a conversation perhaps for another day. But what else is on your radar? AI probably being one of them that you would put on ours right now as we try to make sense of this chaos around us.
yeah, governing AI is massive, and the countries and the companies that are going to make the rules for the most transformative technology of our lifetimes, responding to climate change, particularly the growing conflict with the global south, the countries that are poor and having the hardest time on the back of that, and what happens over the next year and a half in the Russia-Ukraine war. Those are probably the three things that are front of mind that we haven't spent as much time on.
Great. Well, I look forward to more conversations, and as always, thank you very much, Ian, and hope to connect again soon.